everyone, and welcome to another video of Linux for absolutely beginner. My name is Tia from DevOps Easy Learning, and today we'll be going through Linux file system, right? What is a Linux file system? And all operating systems basically have this. Even Windows has this, also Mac OS have the same thing, right? And Linux, what is that? Let's say even in your home, if you have a pantry or a closed set, how do you basically organize everything in there? Let's see here. For instance, let's say this is your closet. Is it well organized? The answer here is no, because here everything is kind of messed up, right? You have your shirt, your t-shirt everywhere on the floor. How can you organize this thing and make sure that it is well structured, right? As you guys can see here, your data here, take this, your clothes and everything, like in Linux operating system, as a file/data that you want to store. You want to organize this and put it on your computer, right? Without a file system, data can be placed anywhere that we want. We don't want that. The same thing here, like you guys can see this closet here, it is not well organized, but check this closet out. As you guys can see here, we have a place where we can put pants, we have a place where we can put t-shirt, we have a place where we can put shirt, and so on, right? This one, it is well organized. I have a place for tie, I have a place for dress shirt, I have pens, I have everything well organized here. Same thing also apply with Linux, right? The same thing apply with Linux. Let us first of all start with Windows file system, for instance. If you open my Windows and here, what is the file system in Linux is what is the C drive, right? And the C drive, this is the hard disk drive where the Windows operating system it is installed. And when I click on this, as you guys can see, these are everything that we can see within the C drive. And in Windows, we usually have our download folder, document, desktop, right? That is within our home directory. And if you open here, you can see what are all the users. And here, this is the only user on this Windows machine. As you guys can see here, this is basically my home directory on Windows machine. It is where I have my download folder, my document, my music, pictures, and so on, right? We call this one a home directory, right? And the home directory is where is within the root file system. As you guys can see, we structure stuff here within the desktop. If I open my desktop here or my download folder, you guys will see that I have everything in there where organized, right? I'll have everything in there well organized. And this is basically what we call the root file system in Linux. The root file system in Windows basically start with the C drive. As I hit this, this is my C drive, and this is what I call my root file system. From here, we are going to have orders, binaries, and files. What is the same thing, the C drive in Linux? The C drive in Linux, it is / guys. Let me go ahead and kind of connect to one of our remote server here. And when I hit enter, I'll go ahead here and punch my password to connect. Before you follow this, you should have access to a Linux server, right? If you don't have access to a Linux server, that is going to be a little bit tough. Now, ls here, as you guys can see, if you say ls and say /, this is what we call the C drive also in Linux, which is the root file system in Linux. And these are all the directories basically that we have under the root file system, But what do we have in our home directory? And this is a user home directory. Right now, I basically log in on this server as a user tier. As you can see, my home directory, it is /home and tier. Let me type ls. Here we don't have anything, right? I can create stuff here to organize everything that I want. Same thing like in Windows here, my home directory, it is here, and the user that I log in with, it is called it is this user. And here I have my document folder, my download folder, and so on. Same thing here. I can create some directories here and store everything that I want. And this one, it is within the root file system. If you type ls again and just say ls and say root, as you guys can see, within the root file system, we have something called a bin directory. We have a boot directory, the etc directory, the dev, home, lib64, lib32, lib64, and so on. As you guys can see, it basically works the same thing like Windows. We will see here that the home directory basically store all users' data, right? As same thing here, the home directory. If I'm going here, this is my home directory. It is going to store a user data. And if you want to see, this is like the home directory. And within this home directory, I have my own user account. In Linux, if you say user, if you say ls and say /home, you guys will see that so far on this server, we have 2 users, right? We have a user admin, I have myself here, and another user called Azure user. And all these user data will be stored here in their specific home directory. As I log in as myself, if you type pwd here, you guys will see that my default home directory, it is in /home/tier. If the user admin login, his own default home directory would be /home/admin. If the user Azure login, his own default home directory will be /home/admin, right? And that is what the home directory is used for. We have this lib32. A lib32 is what? If you download a 32-bit program and install that, if you don't know what a 32-bit and a 64-bit program is, please just go ahead and check that on YouTube, and somebody will be able to explain the difference between the 32 and the 64-bit program, right? Let's say you download a 32-bit program and you try to install it. Where is it going to be located? Within the lib32. And if you download a 64-bit program, you install, where is it going to be located? It is in lib64, right? The same thing apply in Windows. If you just move to the root file system, you guys will see here that we have a file system. We have a program file. Program file here is going to take everything that is 64-bit, and this program file 86 is going to take anything that is 32-bit. If you install a 32-bit program on your Windows machine, it will be stored in here, and the 64-bit program, it is going to be installed here, right? And the main difference here is just that a 32-bit program can only be installed on the 32-bit operating system, and the 32-bit and the 64-bit both can be installed on 64-bit operating system. And how can you check if your operating system, it is either 32-bit or 64-bit? It is easy. Go to your PC, you right click here, show more, just go to property, and it's going to open this, and you will see here, right now mine, it is a 64-bit operating system, which means I can install a 32-bit program and also a 64-bit program. If yours is 32 here, it means that you can only install 32-bit program, and that is the main difference, right? And I have like 64 gig of RAM installed, and this is like Windows 12 generation, and this i9, right? Core i9. Now, let us see. Let us move on a little bit and see some stuff that we have in there. We also have something called a root device, right? Root also is the same thing. In Windows, we have something called administrator. Administrator in Windows world, it is a user that have the power to do everything in Windows operating system. The same thing apply in Linux, right? We also have a user that we call a root user, and that root user have the power to do everything in Linux operating system. And when you log in as a root, like right now, if you type pwd, I am a regular user, but if you type sudo-i, this is going to say, hey, what is your password? And if you go ahead and kind of put my password here, it is going to switch me from a regular user to a root user. And right now, I have the power here, right? I can do everything. I can even destroy this VM. And if you type pwd, you can see here that my home directory now, it is root. which means I've logged in as a root. I've logged in as a power user in Linux. And if you tab ls and root / again, we have another one here called the xbin directory. When you log in as a regular user, all command that you will be typing here will be coming from something called a bin directory. We say a bin directory store binaries. What are those binaries? Those binaries here are just Linux command, right? When you log in as a regular user, that means you have a limited permission, right? You cannot do everything in Linux. And every single command that you are going to type in Linux will just be coming from this bin directory, from the bin directory. That means you have access only to the bin directory when you log in as a regular user. And when you log in as a root user, you have this £sign, right? A regular user will have a $sign here. A root user will have a £sign here. And as you log in as a root user, you have access to the bin directory and also the sbin directory, because the xbin directory basically have some command that a non-root user cannot run, right? If you run that, you have access denied, right? Now, there is another one here that is really, really useful that we call this one the etc directory. The etc directory under the root file system basically store all servers configuration, right? Please never mess up with this etc directory, because that is where, if you want to make any modification, all server configuration are being stored in the etc directory or server configuration. And that is why, while going through Linux, there are a lot of files here that you need to be aware of and know how to manage those files. And all of them are be stored here in the etc directory. I don't want to go through all that because they are kind of a lot. As you guys can see here, if we go to our little cheat sheet here, which is a PowerPoint here, you guys can see everything in Linux start with root. That root here is what we call the root file system, and under the root file system we have a couple of stuff, right? Let me go ahead and grab my Epic pen. Under the root file system, as you guys can see, we have the bin, we have the etc. You guys can see we just mentioned that the etc store what this one here manage the boot up process, and here we have the xbin directory that I mentioned, the temp directory here that will go ahead and just store a temporary stuff that maybe the operating system is using, or if you have some stuff that you can delete it at any time, you can push it in the temp directory yourself, and that is the xbin and so on. As you guys can see here, the hierarchy here, everything starts with the root file system, right? And I basically have, if you want to learn more, I have a second slide here that will go ahead and explain everything that you can see within the root file system. The root, like I mentioned, when you log in as a root, you type pwd, you are going to be within the root file system. The mnt directory is what you can go ahead and read it. The temp directory, the usr directory is what the var directory, the lib directory, and so on. And this is the definition, right, of all the elements that you can see within the root file system. But there are some here that are really, really useful, and you need to know that, especially the etc directory that will store all configuration, the home directory, that is where user will store everything that they want, and also the root directory, which is just a home directory. When you log in as a root, maybe the xbin directory, that's where you basically have root binaries, and also the bin directory that can store just a regular user command, where a root user will have access to the bin and the xbin directory, right? And also even maybe this lib64 and also the lib and so on. And that's it for this video, guys. If you like this video, please let me know in the comment below. And also, if you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go ahead and do so that you'll be notified when we publish a new video. And also, please don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and so on. Thank you. Bye-bye.